Speaking section. The speaking section tests your ability to communicate in English in an academic setting. During the test, you will be presented with 4 speaking questions. The questions ask for a response to a single question, a talk, or a lecture. The prompts and questions are presented on time. You may take notes as you listen, but notes are not graded. You may use your notes to answer the questions. Some of the questions ask for a response to a reading passage and a talk or a lecture. The reading passages and the questions are written, but the directions will be spoken. Your speaking will be evaluated on both the fluency of the language and the accuracy of the content. You will have 15 to 20 seconds to prepare and 45 to 60 seconds to respond to each question. Typically, a good response will require all of the response time and the answer will be complete by the end of the response time. You will have about 17 minutes to complete the speaking section. A clock on the screen will show you how much time you have to prepare each of your answers and how much time you have to record each response.
You will now be asked a question about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to plan your response and 45 seconds to speak.
Do you agree that government spending on the education of young children is more crucial to the successful development of a nation than funding for institutions?
You will now read a short passage and then listen to a conversation on the same topic. You will then be asked a question about the passages. After you hear the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak. You have 45 seconds to read the passage below.
Listen to 2 students discussing this article.
Wow! Laptops are finally allowed in class? That's a game changer. No more struggling with messy handwriting or missing notes while scrambling to write everything down.
I agree it can be helpful for note-taking, but won't laptops be a distraction? Social media and online browsing are tempting.
That's a fair concern, but I think the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. Imagine being able to organize notes with folders and digital tools, or accessing online resources during lectures to clarify concepts. My friend at another university uses her laptop for class presentations. It allows for a more dynamic and interactive experience.
Interesting. Collaboration sounds like another advantage. Maybe we could even take turns summarizing lectures on our laptops and share them with the class, creating a kind of study guide.
Exactly. Laptops can become powerful learning tools if used responsibly. We'll just need to be disciplined and avoid distractions. Maybe professors could even set some guidelines for appropriate laptop use in class.
Yeah, that makes sense. With some clear expectations, laptops could transform classrooms into more engaging and interactive learning environments.
The woman expresses her opinion about the proposal described in the letter. Briefly summarize the proposal. Then state her opinion about the proposal and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion.
You will now read a short passage and then listen to a lecture on the same topic. You will then be asked a question about the passage. After you hear the question, you have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak. You have 45 seconds to read the passage below. You may begin reading now.
Now listen to part of a lecture in a theater arts class. Today, we will explore the concept of suspension of disbelief and its significance in theater. Suspension of disbelief is the key to unlocking the magic of theater, as it allows the audience to fully immerse themselves in the fictional world of a production. Let me provide you with an example to illustrate this concept. One example of suspension of disbelief is the portrayal of supernatural characters on stage. Take, for instance, the character of a witch in a play. The audience knows that witches do not exist in reality, yet through the power of theater, they are able to suspend their disbelief and accept the presence of a witch in the play. The skillful acting, makeup, and costumes create a believable and engaging portrayal that captivates the audience's imagination. Another example is the depiction of historical events on stage. Despite knowing that the events occurred in the past, the audience suspends their disbelief and becomes emotionally invested in the unfolding story. Through the use of set design, costumes, and lighting, theater artists transport the audience to a different time and place, allowing them to experience the events as if they were happening in the present.
Explain how the example from the professor's lecture illustrates the concept of suspension of disbelief.
You will now listen to part of a lecture. You will then be asked a question about it. After you hear the question, you will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
Listen to part of a lecture in a biology class.
Today, we will explore the fascinating adaptations that enable snails to survive in hot and dry climates. Snails, typically associated with moist environments, have evolved remarkable strategies to thrive in arid conditions. Let me provide you with 2 examples to illustrate these strategies. The first strategy is aestivation, a state of dormancy similar to hibernation. During periods of extreme heat and dryness, snails enter estivation by sealing themselves inside their shells and secreting a protective layer over their bodies. This helps them conserve moisture and reduce water loss. For instance, the desert snail, Sphincterochila cariosa, is known to estivate during harsh summer months in arid regions. By entering this dormant state, the snail can withstand the challenging environmental conditions. The second strategy involves specialized behavior and anatomy. Some snails have the ability to retreat into their shells and seal the opening with a mucus plug, reducing water loss through evaporation. Additionally, they can retract their bodies into their shells, minimizing exposure to direct sunlight. The desert snail, Eobania vermiculata, demonstrates this adaptation by burying itself in the soil during the hottest parts of the day and emerging in the evening to feed and reproduce.
Using the examples of Sphincterochilicariosa and Eobania vermiculata from the lecture, explain 2 ways that snails survive in hot and dry climates.